Join me as I turn this into this, my metal stamped copper wire bracelet.
Hello, craft friends. I am Casey Lum with the baby bump. Look, it's getting bigger. And this is Social Crafts. Welcome. So today I'm going to show you how to make these gorgeous copper bracelets. So it starts as just wire. It starts as plain wire. And we use all of these tools to make our own hand stamped bracelets. Let me get closer so you can actually see this bracelet. Da, da, da. Can you see how cute it is? It is so cute. It's hand stamped with some letters, and this is what we're going to be making today.
Well, first, let's see it in fast forward, and then stick around after to see the full supply breakdown and slower craft tutorial.
If this is your first time here, thanks for being here. I teach you everything you need to know to effortlessly host a craft party. From crafts to create, to party food ideas, and hosting tips and hacks. Of course, if you're not interested in hosting a craft party, you can do any of these crafts on your own individually. I post a new video every Wednesday, so please consider subscribing to my channel below or visiting socialcrafts.com for more crafting and hosting inspiration. So without further ado, let's get started on what you need for this craft. All of this stuff will be listed below in the description with links for easy purchasing. I try to make it easy as possible for you to get everything that I use, so it's in the description below. So first and foremost, you will need wire. Got this wire from Home Depot or Lowe's. I'm not quite sure if you can get it on Amazon. If you can, I will post a link to get where you can get these on Amazon. Also, I will post a wire cutter. Let me grab that wire cutter for you. Because it comes in very long strips, you then can purchase a wire cutter. This is the one I like to use to cut the wire into pieces like this. So all of this information will be listed below with all the details. So we want to do some copper wire though. So this is copper wire. And then we want to do a stamp set. So this is a metal stamping set. And there are all different sizes, and this is an uppercase one. You can get a lowercase. So I will list a lowercase and uppercase set that I like to use. It's a 1.5 millimeter set. It's a pretty small letter set, so you'll need that. Optional, a heart metal stamp. I like to use a heart in some of my stamping. You will need a metal stamping block, super heavy, but this is what you'll need. You'll also need a rounded hammer. So this is a rounded hammer here. This one is a rubber or silicone hammer, so you'll need one of those. And this is a regular hammer, so we just use a regular stubby hammer for some things as well. Then also these are by Impress Art, and they are jewelry bender pliers, if that's what you want to call them. Probably not the official name for them. But this one is curved this way, so you can bend your jewelry and wire along the curve this way. And then this one's a pliers that has these rubber pieces on it, so the metal, because if you ever use metal on metal, it will nick it. So it has these rubber pieces on it, so you can use it to bend your metal pieces without making nicks into your metal. This is also by Impress Art, and it's a bracelet bending bar, so this is really handy. And these are metal files, so there are going to be some rough edges on your bracelet. These are metal files that you can file the rough edges down. Also, some steel wool helps with shining this. Anything, I use a lid to a jar for your paint. So you also want to get some stamp enamel paint. And Q-tips, I like to use Q-tips. Paper towels as well. And a little, you know, don't have to use the top of a jar, you can use a plate. You don't even really have to use much of anything. You only use a very small amount of paint. And that is, you know, about it. If there's anything else I forgot, I'll put it in the description below. But remember, everything's listed in the description below for easy purchasing. And I think it's time to get started on this craft.
So first we're gonna hammer out our wires so it's nice and flat so we can fit some of our stamped letters on it. You'll use your metal block below and then your rounded hammer to start hammering and flattening the wire. You see here, I work my way down the wire as I hammer instead of focusing on one spot on the wire. This helps give it an even flatness as you flatten it out. So it's important to just work your way down the wire with the hammer so it creates an even flatness. And then also you'll see it'll start to curve when you are hammering it. So I alternate between using the curved hammer and then I flatten it out with the rubber mallet. And try to do it when it doesn't get as curved as this. Try to do it when it just gets slightly curved, straighten it out with the rubber mallet. Go back to flattening it out with the curved hammer and then switch back to the rubber mallet and just keep straightening and then flattening, straightening and flattening until you get a good size thickness. I normally do it till about 1.5 millimeters or about 1/16 of an inch thick. And I keep alternating in between the rounded hammer and the rubber mallet, the rounded hammer and the rubber mallet until I get a good amount of thickness. So that is what you do to get it as flat as you want it to be. Next, you're gonna take your steel wool and you're gonna shine it up. So just take that steel wool, polish it up, and you'll see it get really shiny. Next, this is where we add our letters. I like to work from the middle letter, in this case, that's a heart, and then outwards. So I like to start in the middle and then work outwards so I make sure everything is centered to my bracelet. So these letters, when you look at them, are gonna be backwards to you. Some of the B's might look like D's, so make sure you are grabbing the right letter that you want to use. Next, when you put the letter down onto the metal, make sure you are holding it down really secure. So when you hammer, and when you hammer, it doesn't have to be incredibly hard, but it does have to have a little bit of pressure to it. So when you hammer that, it will stay put because it can jump around. So make sure when you're putting your stamp down, you're holding it really tightly down and secure onto the bracelet so it doesn't move around. You might want to practice before you do this part so you don't mess up your bracelet. And you just keep doing this until you get the letters that you want on your bracelet. So cute, right? Next, we're gonna bend our bracelet to the shape we want. We want to take our bracelet bar, stick it in that little slot it has, and just bend it around. You only wanna bend it, watch how I bend it. You don't wanna bend it further than that because it'll make a weird bend. You just wanna make it like that. And then you want to switch it around and do it to the same side. If it doesn't fit in that little slot, you might have to hammer the ends a little bit more just to make sure it fits in that slot and it can grip. So once you have a bended bracelet, it's pretty smooth and it looks pretty good. And then I use these other bracelet bending pliers just to do some final touches. I like the edges a little bit turned in more just so it grips on my wrist and it won't fall off. So I like to bring in the edges with this bracelet bending bar and just fine tune these little edges and making sure the bracelet looks symmetrical and that you can try it on, make sure it fits your wrist. If it's too loose, you can make it tighter. So this is just some fine tuning I'm doing right here. Next, I take one of the metal files and I file those edges down because they are normally pretty rough. And so I file it down. You can also do this before you bend your bracelet. It might be a little bit easier. But either way, just file down those edges, touch it with your fingers, see if there's any more rough edges, and then keep filing until you get some smooth edges. Next, again, a little more fine tuning with the other pliers, just making sure that it's rounded, it looks pretty symmetrical. And I just keep alternating between the two pliers till I get the shape that I want. Looks pretty good. Next, it's time to add the paint. The paint will make your bracelet, the letters on your bracelet, look a little more worn and make them darker. So I squirt a little bit of the paint. You can put it right onto the Q-tip. You don't have to use the tray. Make sure you have some toilet paper or paper towels handy. Dip your Q-tip into the paint and just dab it onto your letters, making sure it gets in all the grooves. So go ahead and just dab it. And then you're gonna take your toilet paper or paper towel and just wipe it clean. It'll stay in the grooves of the letter, but it will come off the rest of the bracelet. And there you go. You have your finished bracelet. So stinking cute. Please tag us in your finished product at Social Crafts or hashtag #YayForCrafts. We'd love to see what you created.
So I hope your craft turned out great. I wanted to also tell you that I know flattening out this wire can be strenuous for some. And maybe you also want to have a craft party where there's not a ton of banging. So there's a solution for that. In the craft store or in the description below, I'm going to list a whole bunch of what they call blanks. Blanks are jewelry pieces. It could be a flattened piece of wire, it could be a little charm. It could be all these little things that are blank pieces of metal that are already shaped in jewelry shape for you that are just ready to be stamped with letters. So you don't have to go through the whole process of hammering this piece of wire down. You can have some pre-made jewelry pieces that are ready for you that all you have to do is stamp some letters into. So I totally understand if you want to have a craft party that's a little more easygoing and not so much strenuous. I wanted to show you this technique because I think it's so cool that this can be turned into this. But I also understand that that's maybe not the craft party you want to have or the craft that you want to do. So I will include some things you'll see in the description. It'll say a whole list of blanks, it's called blanks, and it will show you some craft pieces, some little metal pieces that are ready for you to stamp really easily. So you might not even need all of this. So those are there for you, so you can go two different ways in your bracelet making or your metal stamping, so just know that. Otherwise, if you have any other questions, please email me at hello@socialcrafts.com. That's hello@socialcrafts.com. And also please stay in touch. Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. You can find me at socialcrafts.com. That's at socialcrafts.com on any of those platforms. And I would love to stay in touch with you, and you can get more inspiration here. And that is there for you. Also, we really appreciate any thumbs up you can give us for this video, thumbs up below, and of course, to subscribe. We do a new video every Wednesday, and it is just so fun to have you along. So please subscribe here. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.